Now, see, self-finishing or self-enclosed seams, see, the inside looks as good as the outside. Slightly different, but you cannot see any kind of fraying, right? It's all enclosed. And if you look at it in the light, it's just like a pencil, okay? Now, this is a very strong seam. Most self-enclosed seams, which is these three of them, it's the French seam, the French muck, the flat felt, and the self-bound. Those are the 4 self-finishing seams. And that means that they are enclosed within their own seam allowance, so that there is no fraying. See, no loose ends, no open ends. It's all clean, okay? It tells you in here too. Oh. So, in here though, you gotta watch, don't read the, because we have a 1/2 inch seam. In here, this book is based on commercial patterns, which are 5/8. So, it's, you know, sometimes when they tell you. Now, for this particular seam, though, we are going to use 5/8. And there is a reason for it. Because see how this is a force in here? We have a force here. We got a force here. We got to carry that force along the whole garment so that it looks nice. So therefore, if I only have a 1/2 inch, I don't have enough to turn under. So this particular shoulder seam, we're going to make a little bit wider. A little bit wider. I brought a blouse with me that I made in the 80s. And it's been sitting in one of my drawers, so it looks a little raggedy. But it's Swiss linen. Swiss linen.
That's nice.
But it's
the 80s are in.
It's I gotta put some bleach on it.
I love that she said raggedy.
It's white, and it just turned all yellow. But this blouse, it's really a nice pattern. It's a rope pattern, and I forget the designer, but this is Swiss linen, and look at this.
That shirt is so in right now.
Every seam
short in the front, long in the back.
A flat felt seam. So when you look at this, it looks like pencils. I had a ball when I made this. This was not in construction, you know, I just made that up myself.
I love it.
But
I would wear that
really
right now.
And I love this sleeves too. They kind of come from here.
Right. And then the color, see, this is, I don't know, I was using some stuff for trying to get a tan. And I don't know what this is, but
it's gotta be saved.
I know it's got to be saved. But this color is actually, you know, it's not real high. It's lower. It sits kind of like right in here.
It's so
but
gorgeous.
Pockets,
it looks impossible to make.
I know.
Look at this. The pocket here.
Oh,
and
there's
then
a
you
pocket.
have a pocket here.
Oh
you
my
got
God.
2 pockets in one. And this is a patch pocket. This is a patch pocket with a flap.
Do they connect?
And the flap is one corner and one curve.
Oh my gosh.
And this is actually, this hem is a facing. There is a little bias facing that is put on that. That was hard to do. Yeah. I worked hard on this. But I had fun, you know, but you have to feel this.
That would be stressful.
This is Swiss linen. It feels like silk.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Swiss linen is
I would wear that right now.
Fabric.
Me too. We'd have to fight for
I know.
This here, and then it's a hidden button.
Yeah, how do you do
there's
that?
one button here, and then the rest is hidden. So it's a hidden button closure. So you see, these things you can all learn how to do, you know. This is a shirt, actually a shirt color. with a yoke, a double yoke, and everything is enclosed. And this is where these self-finishing seams comes in. That's why I brought it. So you can do this.
I know,
You can
right?
do this. Should I take this to the
We
cleaners
can
to
do,
get
yeah,
it done?
I would have them clean it up. with
Because
the
I don't think I can do it myself as well.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't risk it. That's such a great
And
piece.
then I had these, I was skinnier then too. I had these big legs like you, the linen pants.
Yeah.
And I have a pair that is like, I thought, jeans too, t-shirt under.
Oh God, you gotta raid your closet.
I know, right?
No, my granddaughters did that already.
Oh.
They took a lot of my
Wishful
stuff.
thinking. Yeah, that would be so much fun.
So, yeah, because I'm ending up in all the sweaters and I'm not so much, I'm more for comfort right now. Okay, now I said, in order to do this, if you read your instructions, the colors are not quite there because this is a seam, the flat felt is done on the right side, not on the wrong side of the garment, okay? So most of your self-finishing seams are done in 2 steps, not just one. Like when you sew a regular seam is 1 step. This is done, self-finishing seams are done in 2 steps. Okay, and this one, the flat felt seam, please do make a note of that, is done on the right side. You start on the right side. Now, one of the most important things is the lineup of this seam. Okay, wrong side's touching, okay? And I just want to, now on this end where the shoulder is, you have a straight line and they just kind of run into each other here. Okay, where's my little scissors? Little scissors, little scissors.
Where aren't that little?
There it is. Hiding. Hiding. Okay. Okay. You want to grate this little dart from the back, just so that it's not too bulky. So when you pin these together, you're going to pin them from the, line up the shoulder, the armhole, but in here, when you look at the neckline, the back neckline is a shallow curve, but the front is much deeper. So whenever you meet a seam, you always have to line up the seam where you're going to sew, not where you're cutting. Like this is your cutting line. But when you match seams, you have to match them on the point where you're going to sew. So we have 5/8, right? So you can go and make 5/8 and you can make yourself a point there. 5/8 is a little bit more than a half. See? And then these 2 points have to overlap. So your seam is right here, and the reason for that is that once I sewed this seam and I opened this, the neckline has to be a continuous line. See this neck? See? It has to be continuous. It cannot all of a sudden give in a 1/4 inch and you're going to start over again somewhere. So you always match a seam where you're going to sew. And you're also going to find that the back is always a little bit bigger on the shoulder seam, and that's on purpose because of your shoulder plates. It's always a little bit of ease. Usually a 1/4 inch. Most of the time you don't have a dart. They just add about a 1/4 or 1/2 inch, and then you have to ease it in. So I'm going to sew. Where's the 5/8 on the machine? The 5/8 on the machine is right between the 1 and the 2. That's 5/8. So got one-fourth, one-half, and right between the 1 and the 2 right here is 5/8. Okay? Like the space stitch for the princess line is 3/8. Okay? It's 1/8 of an inch less. So, okay, you can follow me. I'm only going to do this one side for a demo. Come on over here. Put this somewhere else for right now. Oh, let's see. You'll be able to walk tomorrow. Okay, you lift your foot now. You have to do a back stitch at the 5. Now 5/8 is right in front of my number 2. Be careful with your back stitching. 2.5 is the stitch. Just do 1 or 2 stitches. And then just watch the 2. Just keep your eye on the number 2. And you just run it right in front of the number 2. Okay, that's that. Now, one of the seams is going to be trimmed, and it's going to be the back seam. So the seam with the dart, now be careful now. You're going to separate the front and the back, okay? You're going to separate them. And the one with the dart, which is your back, you're going to trim that down to 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. Be careful that you don't cut the other one. If you cut the other one, you're going to be in trouble. This is really important that you pay attention to this. Okay, so now this is kind of halfway cut, right? Make sure when you put this, this on the wrong side, you want to make sure that this is nice and flat. That's why they call it a flat felt seam. This has to be flat. You cannot bring this in like into a tuck or something. This has to stay nice and flat, okay? So now you can press it or finger press it, or you can just hold it with your palms. So now, see how it is? This is going to be now pushed over. See? The back part is trimmed halfway. And now you're going to take the front part, fold it over the back part that you just trimmed, and then fold it again in front of that. Okay? So you have a little, like a little hem, actually. Then make sure it stays flat and pin it in the direction you're going to sew, like that. And again, you see, I hold this apart. Fold it right up to there, and that gives you the best guarantee that it's going to be nice and even. See how it falls in place for that 1/4 inch? That's why we needed that little extra, because if this would have been a 1/2 inch, it would have been too narrow. Also, I'm cutting the back because I don't want the dart to go across the seam. So we're going to fold it to the back. In general, I usually fold it forward, but since the dart is there, I keep it to the back. You can do that any way you want. You can also do princess seams like that. You can have a finish on a princess seam like that. You could do your side seams like that. You can do any seam like that you want. I showed you just that blouse. You can take the seam, and it's so strong, but you can only do this seam on a light to medium weight fabric. Like the jeans is about as far as you can